4AD, baby. Been hunting this bear all week.
I grunted at him. He come running back in. We just smoked another giant.
Just an absolute giant. Lifetime bull for me.
Team 200 is presented by MoonGuide. Plan your best hunt. This week on Team 200, we visit Scott Baker's 2012 hunting season with a buck named Splitter and a hunt with outfitter Chris Seymour, right here on Team 200.
I got about a 220 acre farm. Average year, I'll try to put in roughly 10% of my tillable land on there, not just to hunt the deer, but to help them make it through the winter. I'll put in a lot of Whitetail Institute products like Alpha Rack. We use 30-06 mineral base. You know, we'll get a mid-40s, 50 deer every year on the farm, and this really helps find the deer that we have on our farm. I got a particular spot I like to go to. I usually don't touch it until mid-October, depending on what the leaves are doing. It's a good acorn flats top, and these bucks like to cruise across, and I'm sitting right on top of it. It's not really a ridge, but the hill plateaus down. So on a southwest wind, you really get a real good wind. So if they come from that way, they can't wind you because it shoots down the hill. Every year I call this stand trusty, because every year we've shot 4 bucks out of this stand, so it's one of them stands where you just know when you go back to this stand, I mean, you just know that you're gonna see a good shooter buck there.
Stand about 30 yards, see where his tracks are. Arrow's still in him, so hit him a little bit far forward. I'd say about 15, 16 inches of penetration, so I feel pretty good about that. Hey, I get my lumen on back. What'd you do? Adam. I'm supposed to tackle you for Adam. There he is. Yeah. It just ends my Minnesota season. Ended a good morning, tracking him in here. We had bucks chasing does around us. I couldn't be more excited. He's beautiful, really great ears, big, huge body. More than happy to shoot this deer. Now, we'll go to Kansas.
Coming up next, Scott heads to Kansas to hunt with Seymour bucks. And later, we visit Scott's elk hunt from his 2013 season. Right here on Team 200.
I can't believe it. We've got a giant deer on the ground.
By far the biggest buck I've ever killed.
And I had his onyx pointed. He didn't pick up anything. Gave me a 30-yard shot.
Thank God I have an Ozonics.
Start seeing more deer more often and closer than you ever thought possible with Ozonics. Ozonics is the only product that actively and continually attacks game spooking odor in the downwind airstream during your entire hunt, allowing you to beat an animal's #1 defense, its nose.
Traveling out of his home state of Minnesota, Scott Baker is hunting Kansas with outfitter Chris Seymour on his first ever Kansas bow hunt.
I hate decoys, but now I wished I had a decoy.
Through the past several years, I'm pretty much stuck right in Minnesota doing my hunt. And I always wanted to go to Kansas, so I finally decided that I was going to give it a try.
Just need them to go down the street.
Now we're going to try to see if we can't shoot a good mature whitetail here.
A doe and a buck, pretty good buck, come in here. He pushed her out across the top. It's a small little piece. We're in about 5 acres, maybe 8-acre piece. Here comes a doe right here, right out through here. He ran off. I spoke to him. I hit him right where I should have hit him here.
There's nothing harder than trying to find time to do everything you need to do to harvest these mature whitetails. And that's one reason why I rely on the MoonGuide. You know, I'll spend my family time with my wife and kids, but I'm gonna hunt those times that the moon is red.
With the decision to back out, Scott decides to wait until the next morning before following the blood trail.
Big patch here. There's been something right here. Dude, there he is. There he is, man. Oh, coyote's got this one too. It's too bad it has to happen, but I guess the coyotes need to eat too. I mean, there's a lot of coyotes. Let me tell you, we've had a really rough time out here in Kansas. We've hunted for 11 days. We've seen 10 deer total. It's been a pretty rough drought this year in Kansas here. I mean, it's been a great place to hunt. To see more bucks, if you want a great place to hunt, that'd be the place to go.
Raw frozen scents are same season fresh. Working with reproduction veterinarians, Raw has developed a synchronization process that allows them to bring whitetail deer into heat any time of the year. While other competitors' products may sit on the shelf up to a year before being purchased, Raw estrus urine is collected just prior to hunting season, so your scent is same season fresh. Immediately after the collection process, raw scents are quickly frozen, then shipped directly to you in an insulated cooler so you get it raw, fresh, and pure. Raw frozen scents are always fresh. No water or preservatives added, with a 100% money-back guarantee.
Every year, Scott Baker prepares his Minnesota farm with Whitetail Institute Alpha Rack and targets a hit list for his 2013 season. This year's preparation also includes a hunt in New Mexico for bugling bull elk.
I'm heading to elk hunting. I'm really looking forward to it. I've been here one other time, so I know there's a lot of good elk out in this area. Another half mile will be to the bottom and it'll get a little easier for us, so we'll see you at camp.
Elk hunting, I mean, what really more do you have to say to get somebody fired up? You know, it's just a constant smile. You know, when they're rutting and bugling and ripping trees apart, elk hunting, magical.
Elk hunting, if you ever turkey hunted, elk hunting's a lot like turkeys, because when they're bugling, you can locate yourself in the spot where they're at. And we've seen more bulls than I could even count. I mean, there were several different hunts where I had a lot of mature elk, so I was passing up on some smaller elk. I'm getting on a lot of elk and I'm getting close to the ones that I want to shoot, but I just ain't quite connecting on this elk that I'd like to shoot. I actually went home empty-handed, but I still call it a successful season because, I mean, the experience alone made it an incredible time. My whitetail season really revolves around my farm in Minnesota. We put a lot of times into putting our food plots in and putting trail cameras out and trying to capture and find what the biggest buck is on my farm.
We'll be right back with more big buck hunting action right here on Team 200. For over 2 decades, the MoonGuide has been the #1 rated tool for serious hunters, telling you when giant whitetails will move and where you need to hunt. Now, you can accurately predict the best days and times to catch a big buck moving during daylight with the Deer Hunter's MoonGuide. Are you tired of hunting nocturnal trail camera bucks? Do you ever wonder why some bucks only show up during daylight on certain days each year? The Deer Hunter's MoonGuide is here to help, and it's unlike any other lunar tool you've ever seen. For effective preseason scouting, scheduling time off work, planning out-of-state hunts, and increasing your overall hunting success, simply check the MoonGuide's calendar to find the best days, times, and hunting locations to catch a mature deer on his feet during daylight hours. The MoonGuide is now available as a mobile app too, giving you exclusive tips from the pros, local weather, the rut guide, exclusive discounts, and the deadly red moon data. Plan your best hunt at moonguide.com.
My whitetail season really revolves around my farm in Minnesota. We put a lot of times into putting our food plots in and putting trail cameras out and trying to capture and find what the biggest buck is on my farm. And lo and behold, here comes this buck. It was a nice temper. I knew what deer it was immediately when I seen him. I hadn't seen him for a year. I had passed him up the year before, and he come into the Alpha Rack, Whitetail Institute Alpha Rack. He came right down the line. I had ranged this spot where he'd stopped, and you know the story from there.
42 yards, 41 yards. I shot right over top. I put my 40-yard pin right on him. Well, folks, I tell you, you can hunt and hunt and hunt. You still gotta hit him when you get the chance. I just blew it. I blew it big.
Scott Baker's Minnesota season has taken a turn for the worse. His 2 bucks on his hit list have disappeared. A massive buck in velvet and a giant 10-point. While his brother Randy is hunting in Kansas, Scott gets the green light to hunt his brother's Whitetail Institute food plot.
Coming into this 2013 season, I really wanted to step it up and raise the bar. I made the commitment that in the beginning of the year that I was going to shoot a 160 or better on them Whitetail Institute food plots. You never know what might show up. You know, the 160 class deer that you're hunting, it could end up being all of a sudden a buck showed up that's 180 class deer. And to me, that's, you know, it was well worth the commitment of stepping that bar up to have that tag in my pocket at the end of the season.
Having a good night, first good night we've had all year.
Scott Baker is the prime example of what this show is about. He didn't harvest a deer in 2013, and I just think it's so great to have an opportunity to have a show with these guys that I'm involved with. I mean, you know, we're all on the same page and we all have the same goals, and you know, we just want to hunt these big mature animals, you know, big animals in our area.
This team I've put together and the show is not about filling tags. This is about hunting the most mature animal in your area, no matter what you're chasing, no matter where you're hunting.
200 is about hunting the biggest animals in your area.
Obviously, that's the #1 buck on our hit list.
To me, it's about finding an animal that is fully mature and harvesting that particular animal.
So that when that moment comes, you're going to be able to feel that success of all that hard work.
You know, 150 to 160 inch deer, that's a good whitetail, but that 200 inch deer, when you see that deer, because they're so far and few between. I've only seen one. If you take anything away from this, it's that you don't have to shoot an animal to have a successful season. It's about playing the game with some of the most amazing creatures on the face of this earth.
The mindset is to go after the biggest you can in your area and not compromise or settle for anything else.
Smoke.